जी
Yes,
सर।
sir. Okay. So moving forward to our paper presentation, I would like to invite Ms. Raksha Geeta. She is an assistant professor in Kalindi Mahavidyalaya. The topic of her paper is शिक्षा का मौलिक अधिकार, सामाजिक संघर्ष।
नमस्कार सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। मैं सुबह से बहुत बड़े बड़े लोगों को सुन रही हूँ। मैं उतना तो नहीं जानती हूँ सरकारी स्कूलों के बारे में, लेकिन जो भी मैं बताऊंगी, माफ कीजिए मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
बिल्कुल आ रही है मैम
जी, धन्यवाद। मैं जो भी बात करूंगी अपने कुछ पर्सनल व्यक्तिगत अनुभवों के आधार पर करूंगी, क्योंकि हमारे घरों पे काम करने वाले जो लोग होते हैं या जिनसे हम संपर्क में रहते हैं, उनके बच्चों के बारे में जब, क्योंकि शिक्षा में मैं थोड़ा सा पर्सनल व्यक्तिगत वो रखती हूँ, रुचि रखती हूँ, तो उनसे बात करती हूँ तो उनका रवैया बहुत अच्छा नहीं होता शिक्षा सरकारी स्कूलों के प्रति। और उनका एक अर्थ रहता है कि भाई शिक्षा या स्कूल में जाके करेंगे क्या, नौकरी तो मिलनी नहीं है सरकारी। तो वही चीज है। तो मेरा जो शोध आलेख है सरकारी स्कूलों की सामाजिक पृष्ठभूमि के संदर्भ में उनकी चुनौतियों को सामने रखता है। और हम देखते हैं कि सरकारी स्कूलों के प्रति हमारा समाज का रवैया बहुत निराशाजनक है, जिसका समाधान वास्तव में हमारी इसी मानसिक सोच के बदलाव में निहित है। क्योंकि जब तक निजी स्कूलों और सरकारी स्कूलों के बुनियादी ढांचे के अंतर को कम नहीं किया जाएगा, तब तक हमारी सामाजिक सोच और मानसिक सोच नहीं बदल सकती। हम देखते हैं कि जहां एक और निजी स्कूल की सुविधाएं जो हैं 5 स्टार होटल्स के समान की हैं, तो दूसरी ओर सरकारी स्कूल में शौचालय व पानी की मूलभूत सुविधाएं भी हमारे पास उपलब्ध नहीं है। स्कूल को स्कूल जैसा ही होना चाहिए, ये मेरी सोच है कि कोई स्कूल कोई आरामगाह नहीं है जिसके लालच में लोग अपने बच्चों को निजी स्कूलों में या संस्थानों में भेज देते हैं। सरकार को मुझे लगता है कुछ नियम तय करने होंगे, जैसे वह गेहूं, दालों और पेट्रोल आदि का मूल्य तय करती है और उन पर कंट्रोल रखती है, क्योंकि अतिरिक्त अवांछनीय जो महंगे खर्च हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं हमारे सरकारी स्कूलों के प्रति और उसमें पढ़ने वाले बच्चों के प्रति हीन भावना को लेकर आता है, और शायद तब हमारा रवैया थोड़ा बदल सकता है। मेरा शोध इस पर भी अपनी बात रखता है कि नवजागरण काल, यानी जब अंग्रेज हमारे देश में आए थे, उस समय शिक्षा को लेकर बहुत तीव्रगामी और सकारात्मक परिवर्तन हुए थे। और वही लक्ष्य स्वतंत्रता के बाद की शिक्षा प्रणाली क्यों नहीं प्राप्त कर पाई, जबकि आरटीए के निशुल्क मौलिक अधिकारों के 10 वर्ष बाद भी क्यों हमारी शिक्षा व्यवस्था का बेहतरीन विकास नहीं हो पाया। यदि हम प्राचीन शिक्षा प्रणाली को देखें तो बहुत समृद्ध प्राचीन शिक्षा प्रणाली थी, लेकिन अफसोस ये भी है कि वह भी उस काल में भी हमारा जो शिक्षा का अधिकार था वो एक वर्ग या वर्ण तक सीमित था। हाँ, नव जागरण काल जब आता है, अंग्रेजी शिक्षा जब आती है, तब अंग्रेजों ने भले ही उनके अपने व्यक्तिगत जो लाभ रहे होंगे कि भाई हम एक ऐसा लिपिक जमात तैयार करें जो रंग रूप में तो भारतीय हो लेकिन उनकी मानसिकता अंग्रेजियत से परिपूर्ण हो, यानी गुलाम हो। तो उन्होंने शिक्षा को सबके लिए खोल दिया, कोई भी आए और शिक्षा प्राप्त करे। तो यही वो एक, मुझे लगता है एक बहुत अच्छा पक्ष था अंग्रेजी शिक्षा का, उस समय की शिक्षा प्रणाली का, जिसने हमारे जो चिंतक थे, खास करके मैं राजा राम मोहन राय जी का नाम लेना चाहूंगी और अंबेडकर जी का नाम लेना चाहूंगी, इन्होंने उस शिक्षा का पक्ष लिया। बाकी अंग्रेजों की नीतियों को उन्होंने नहीं माना, लेकिन शिक्षा पर वो इस चीज पर अपना पक्ष देते थे। मैं ज्यादा इस पर फोकस नहीं करना चाहूंगी क्योंकि समय हमारे पास कम है। मैं सीधा अब स्वतंत्रता के बाद के शिक्षा के बारे में बात करती हूँ कि स्वतंत्रता के बाद शिक्षा के मौलिक अधिकार के संदर्भ में मैं यह कहना चाहूंगी कि 2009 में शिक्षा को मौलिक अधिकार को कानून रूप दिया गया। तो क्या कारण रहा होगा कि इसे कानून रूप देना पड़ा, इस पर हमें सोचने की जरूरत है। जो मेरे को समझ आया वो यही हुआ कि यानी स्वतंत्रता के इतने वर्ष बाद भी शिक्षा के लाभ बहुत कम लोगों को मिल पा रहे थे या विशेष लोगों को तक ही पहुंच पा रहे थे। और जहां तक मौलिक अधिकार के कार्यान्वयन की बात है तो ये शिक्षा नीति तो बहुत अच्छी थी, लेकिन 6 से 14 वर्ष का प्रत्येक बालक कितना उससे लाभान्वित हो रहा है, इस पर हमें
कंक्लूड मैम।
ओके, मैं थोड़ी बातें बताना चाहूंगी कि उससे वो कितना लाभान्वित हुआ ये हमें देखना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि हम देखते हैं कि हर व्यक्ति चाहता है कि उसका बच्चा, ये जो 25% वाला जो इसका लाभ मिला है लोगों को, उसमें वहां पर जो बच्चों के साथ भेदभाव किया जाता है, इससे मैं वाकिफ हूँ, मैं जानती हूँ कुछ ऐसे लोगों को कि वो इस लाभ को नहीं ले पाते हैं, वो छोड़ देते हैं क्योंकि उनके साथ इस तरह का भेदभाव आता है, वहां उनकी डिग्निटी आ जाती है। दूसरा, हम ये भी देखते हैं कि जो सरकारी स्कूल में पढ़ने वाले बालक होते हैं वो बहुत ज्यादा आगे तक नहीं जा पाते हैं क्योंकि वहां पर गुणवत्ता और इसका
मैम अपना कंक्लूजन बता दीजिए प्लीज, सॉरी हमारे पास
हाँ,
टाइम बहुत कम है।
जी 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 अंत में मैं बस यही कहूंगी कि नई शिक्षा नीति जो आई है उसमें भी हम देखते हैं कि साहित्य, भाषा और संस्कृति पर तो बहुत बात की गई है, लेकिन क्या ये चीज हो सकती है कि यह शिक्षा उन बच्चों तक पहुंच पाए जो बच्चे लाल बत्ती पर भीख मांग रहे हैं, बॉल पेन बेच रहे हैं, क्या ये शिक्षा उन तक पहुंच पाएगी? बस मुझे यही प्रश्न नई शिक्षा नीति से करना है। धन्यवाद, आपने मुझे समय दिया, इसके लिए धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, ma'am.
थैंक यू, धन्यवाद।
I would next like to invite Mr. Naman Jain from Bennett University, Greater Noida. Topic of his research paper is Legal Conundrum with Online Education During COVID-19, a Black Swan.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, Naman Jain, and my co-author Riya Soni are here to present before you the research paper titled Legal Conundrums with Online Education, a Black Swan. I would like to begin with a quote of John Kennedy. The Chinese used two brushstrokes to write the word crisis. One brushstroke stands for the word danger and another for the opportunity. In a crisis, be aware for the opportunity and aware of the danger. Therefore, it is the right time for in the pandemic to bring an evolution and change the entire education system of India. The instant paper has endeavored to demystify the loopholes and the need to change our education system with respect of RTE Act. I am sure that no one has ever heard of a black-colored swan, but at the present condition, it is an unprecedented situation or maybe a chain of unprecedented circumstances that are happening every day. Idea of RT was formulated after one decade of independence, and at that time, the diversity and size of the country has been considered priorly. But that point of time, education was just made compulsory, but the standard and quality of education was compromised because India was seen in the backward list of the countries. Article 21 includes right to education, and hence RTE Act ensures that right to equality and right to non-discrimination should not be snuffed by the state at the time of ensuring proper education. But in the recent decades, it was witnessed that the state has continued to fulfill the responsibility and the rights of citizens regarding education have been violated continuously. Right to education at present time is the most vulnerable, or I can say disastrous act. The country has undergone a virtual online mode since the entire country is under lockdown. Classrooms are been happening in Zoom, Skype, Google Meet, etc. But in the last decade, since 2009, RTE has failed to get implemented successfully in the country. Nothing has been done for the quality of education. One aspect that I want to bring the light on is a pupil teacher ratio. It has been decreased from 46 to 33% in the last year, as also reported by MHRD. In several states, one of the most important abhiyans such as Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and Swachh Vidyalaya Abhiyan means Clean India and Clean Schools were implemented, but it has failed to maintain the hygiene of the schools. Lack of social infrastructure, non-proficient teachers, lack in quality training and maintaining the education, improper implementation of weaker section, EWS reservation has made the situation disastrous. One policy that we are all aware is a non-detention policy. This means that any student in class 8 cannot be failed in the examination. The aim that at that present point of time, this policy was made to to create a stress-free environment. But at the present time, this policy has led to deterioration of the student motivation, and the students are getting casual. Other major issues such as low disciplinary checks, inferiority complex, non-timely payment of government to the teachers, and lack of digitalization have succumbed the education system of India. How the state should
conclude.
Yes, ma'am. How the state should envision this situation as an opportunity would be discussed by my co-author Riya Soni.
Am I audible? Am I audible? नमस्कार सभी को सबसे पहले। और हमने अपने रिसर्च पेपर में 2 लीगल इश्यूज डिस्कस किए हैं। फर्स्टली डिवाइस एंड इंटरनेट एक्सेसिबिलिटी एंड सेकेंडली इट्स द राइट टू न्यूट्रिशन। अब राइट टू एजुकेशन एक्ट के अंडर ये भी कहा जाता है कि फ्री एंड कंपल्सरी एजुकेशन हर स्टूडेंट को अराउंड ऑफ द एज ऑफ 6 to 14 प्रोवाइड करानी चाहिए। इसमें गवर्नमेंट हैज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू प्रोवाइड द एडिक्वेट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर and as well as equipment, the correct learning equipment should be provided to students. Also, you have to keep in mind that students don't have to actually bear any cost for accessing education, and it should be provided to them in a timely manner. And right now, I think this right has been infringed by the same. And when talking about right to nutrition, I think RTE also had mandated that students should be provided with midday meals. And after the lockdown was imposed, this right was also sort of taken away or violated, because students were actually barred from not only their source of nutrition, but also the school enrollment ratio, and the attendance was decreased, because it was said that midday meals are actually a reason why the school attendance ratio has increased. And therefore, a memorandum was also raised by the RTE forum, which included a lot of dignitaries at that time. It was issued in September 2020 only.
Yeah, I would request you to please conclude the...
Yeah, sure. So now the national education policy has been brought into light with a good sort of compliance with the right to education. I think it's important to enshrine the concept of inclusivity and diversity and fairness, rather than just having one nation, one digital platform. And I think the Right to Education Act should be mandated as a law rooted in reality rather than ideology. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Riya and Naman. Our next presenter is Ms. Saundarya Soma. Her topic is free and compulsory education, bone-bowing during COVID-19.
Good afternoon, everyone. As my title is Free and Compulsory Education, Bone-bowing during COVID. In this paper, the following question would be addressed. The first is whether the transition to online classes falls under the provision of RTE Act. And the second is whether the ambiguity that arises in the word free and compulsory education during the times of COVID. The third is the discrimination against the children with disabilities during the time of COVID. And the fourth would be the suggestion model. So as we know that with a clear reading of the provision of RTE Act 2019, it is clearly stated that the student falling under the age group of 6 years to 14 years are entitled to receive free and compulsory education. But due to COVID, the complete machinery of this provision has failed. The government has taken the steps to shift the physical classes to online classes and so the question arises whether the decision of the government and the implementation that has been done can be criticized or appreciated. So, as it has been seen that in recent case in state of Himachal Pradesh, it was seen that a poor farmer had to sell his cow so that he can buy a smartphone for her daughter to continue her study. Even a similar case has been seen in the state of Odisha, where a daily wagerer had to sell his only cow, that was the only source of income, to buy a smartphone so that his children can avail the online classes. So here the question arises whether the system is providing free online classes. Of course not. Whether parents are entitled to buy a smartphone and to get the coverage, they're entitled to give some money. This clearly shows that the education that has been imparted through online class does not amount to free education. According to the report of BBC News, it has been clearly stated that there are a lot of parts in India where there is no facility of electricity. So in this current situation, when the education process is done through online process, what is about the people staying in the area where there is no electricity? Obviously, they are not being able to avail the online facility. This clearly shows that even the term compulsory education in the proviso of this act has not been strictly followed. And the other pathetic situation in our country is still yet the government has not announced any special provision for the children with disabilities. As we know that the children with disabilities are very much are very much backward in education. They need some special technology so that they can cope up with this transition to online education. But still yet the government has not yet provided any system for them. So from this we can exactly see that we need a strong technology system, and the teachers are also needed to be trained. As per the statistic, it is shown that only 34% of the teachers are trained to take online classes. So the question is, what about the rest of the teachers? Even going through the statistics, only 15% students in Delhi are not traceable.
Kindly conclude.
So the conclusion of this paper is that we should adopt some process as it is seen in the state, or as it is seen in countries like South Africa, where they have the best education system. They deal with the education system despite of the Ebola and many more famine there has been caused. This shows that there has not affected the students' education because of the adaptation of a very good implementation. Thus, as we know that the pandemic is an unprecedented situation, we need to frame a provision that would be very helpful in near future. With this, I conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Soundarya. Our next presenters are Ms. Naini Narayan and Ms. Vanshika Gupta from University of Petroleum and Energy Studies in Dehradun. Their topic is Right to Education in the Digital Learning Era.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Good afternoon to everyone present here. Today we have got an opportunity to present our paper on right to education. I am Naini Narayan from University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, along with my co-author Vanshika Gupta from University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, Dehradun. The object of a research paper is to throw some light.
One second, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you please allow me to share my screen?
Who is saying?
Sorry.
वंशिका, आपको स्क्रीन शेयर करना है?
हाँ जी, वंशिका.
Yes, kindly conclude.
Thank you.
The object of a research paper is to show some light on digital learning. Digital learning is a tool of 21st century which enhanced several areas of students like technology, healthy attitude towards study, preparing students for digital workplace. As education holds the utmost important place in today's world. Right to education is a right under Article 21A of the Indian Constitution. Our research paper shows that during this lockdown, our attention has laid towards educational technology that provides for access of children from learning platform. Example, Diksha, digital learning platform launched by government to provide school education. Moving forward with the challenges, firstly, it's disadvantageous for underprivileged and children from rural areas because they have lack of awareness, unstable financial conditions, and lack of technology. Along with students, many teachers face problems because they are expected to adopt the changes, which is why they need to upgrade and train themselves with new technologies of digital learning. With this, I would like to continue with my co-author.
Good afternoon, judges. Continuing with the presentation, I would start with the benefits of digital learning. E-learning provides flexibility to students as they are free to work according to their own convenience and are not bound by a fixed schedule. Also, it reduces costs of transportation, accommodation, etc., which in return help middle-class parents to provide easy access to education to the children in any part of the globe. The digital mode has switched to exchange of information from paper to mails or other digital mode, which undoubtedly saves times or reduces burden of running from one place to another. This technology of digital learning has encourage students to pursue specialized degree courses along with their basic studies. Another benefit that digital learning adds is it provides a platform to students across the globe to interact with each other, and it makes them culturally sensitive and able to fit into other environments easily, thus removing the cost barrier that prevents students to interact with peers across the globe. These are some benefits that are stated by me with respect of digital learning. Coming to pedagogical implications, which indeed is a new approach to digital learning, it is also a challenge to physical learning. But in order to fit in new generation of learners, it is important to adapt these technological changes. Concluding my presentation, I would like to state that through this research paper, we have tried to show a light to the importance of right to education in this digital era. It is because of digital learning that the students are able to continue with their studies in this pandemic situation. Also, adding to it, it is important, education is most important factor due to technology, which has an impact on all areas of human life and has a general impact on students' lives as well. While students tend to learn in the digital world, it is worth protecting them from the challenges of technological progress. It's like we are breathing and technology every step of the way. With so many things in our favor of digital media, it is important to prepare us for the threats that are part of the new educational trend. Education will always help people to interact with different types of people, exchange knowledge and ideas, and live in harmony. So, to prevent many further complications and to encourage students about education and concluding and keeping in mind the benefits that a digital education provides, I think that digital education is important in this digital era. At last, I would end my presentation by stating a slogan, which is शिक्षा करेगी नवयुग का निर्माण, आने वाला समय देगा इसका प्रमाण. Thank you.